Okay, welcome back to the E-Managerial website. This is some particular technique on how IT auditor add value to the business. So let's discuss together. In this lesson, I would like to share with you in high-level perspective. How can auditor add value to the business in terms of risk management, in terms of compliance? Okay, for this slide, we focus on the business alignment. What is a business alignment between management and auditor? When we talking about the business alignment, auditor will look at the requirement of the business that the business user need to be performed and in line with the organization direction or mission and vision. For example, if the uh, business unit need to implement one system that require 300K for one project, and the project need to be complete at next year quarter 2. So the auditor will look at the requirement of the business, whether the IT department can deliver the projects uh, on time or not, and to measure whether the project deliveries meet to the business expectation or not. This is an area that auditor need to be focused at. So slide number 2, the next slide. Auditor will overseeing as a risk function. So they will look at the overall, the entire of IT operation, whether the risk function is workable or not. This is an area like the slide define the angle. The angle always look at from the top of view to see at the ground rule whether the IT people comply with the rule and regulation or not. This is just an example. So the auditor function need to ensure the IT risk management fully and strictly comply by the IT people. This is a control gap management. If we say the control gap management, we're talking about the policy and procedure. Most organizations may not emphasize on the control gap analysis and obsolete on the control that we describe in the policy. So the organization need to have the appropriate reviewing structure on the policy and procedure, like a like a policy framework, like a policy endorsement process, like governance to who is endorse the policy, and manual and guide who is can change the actual process to in line with the policy requirement. So whatever relate to the insufficient or obsolete IT security policy and procedure, so this area that most happen into the small enterprise, or we can say the family business. They don't care about the policy and procedure. Sometimes they feel that policy and procedure a lot of admin work, spend a lot of resource, but somehow they need to comply partially, not fully, because of the exception or something like that, that business need to accept the risk. So auditor will adjust whether the control requirement required by a regulator or required by the internal policy and procedure that defined our top management. So ensure that all IT people and business user need to comply with the policy and procedure. So the auditor will present and will inspire whatever present in the IT standard and framework. IT standard and framework very important to indicate for all IT operation process to in line with the best practice and standard requirement. For example, like ITIL, service management, like ISO, like PCI, DSS, like Saban Oxley, like COSO, like COVID, and like a lot of framework, a lot of standard. So the standard can improve the business process, can improve the internal control activity. This is an IT compliance requirement. Sometimes the auditor need to deep down what are the major root cause that lead to break the compliance, break the policy requirement, like a fraud reporting. Auditor will look at the reporting related to the fraud risk, meaning that some negligence from the staff or system failure or misappropriation or misunderstanding from process one to other process that lead to execute wrongly. Sometimes auditor need to understand about the way to escalation or system compromise. So auditor need to look at what IT department and other department can work together as a business requirement. For example, like business change. When the business change, some system and some application need to be revised or need to be change the role and privilege in the system. So if the business unit did not understand the principle of asset management in terms of system perspective, so sometimes IT cannot understand what is a business requirement exactly. That's why auditor need to understand from the business part and IT part to make sure the business and IT in line and seen together for the one objective of the organization. The third one, auditor will look at the contingency plan, contingency management. Contingency management is a business strategy to ensure the business can assume for any crisis incur or can be a readiness state for the system recovery in case of unforeseen the situation like system failure, like internal attack, like a sabotage, something like that. So the last one is a data governance and information asset safeguard. This is related to the information security framework that we need to maintain the CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So the data governance to govern for all data being used by a business unit and make sure data present properly and and access timely and correctly. This slide we focus on risk mitigation. When we talk about risk mitigation, we have two. One is a corrective action, and one is a permanent solution. Permanent solution meaning that management need to willing to invest some system or some resource to mitigate the risk that let a chance of risk that no really to expose to external factor. So this called a permanent solution. And corrective action, sometimes management not willing to invest, and somehow IT department had is hardly to convince the senior management. How can we settle the risk? How can we mitigate the risk properly? For example, a control gap analysis that we need to conduct, and we need to assess whether the control present in the policy and procedure gap or insufficient, something like that. And the second is an impact analysis. We measure on the impact from the scalability of the impact. What a potential of impact that can lead to financial loss, that can lead to customer complaint or dispute, something like that, or lead to legality risk or reputation damage. And the third, risk mitigation may be involved with a vulnerability assessment and control assurance. These two areas need to understand what is the principle of vulnerability assessment, what is a threat that we assess during the risk assessment period. And control design, this is an initiative from senior management that they emphasize on the how the control to be tightened, that let the IT operation operate smoothly, or we can say the control design can help the business to operate effectively and efficiency. And management response is ownership or risk owner, that management need to be respond on the risk that highlight from independent reviewer. So the management must understand about the ownership of the risk, so they will aware of what they should do for the next 3 months or next year, something like that, for the future part. The last is a safeguard or CIA. If we talk about the safeguard or CIA, meaning that we focus on information security framework, because the CIA is a key component can protect the organization asset. Okay, we move to the next slide. Data loss prevention. A lot of company invest on this mechanism to ensure the data leak or data loss can be detected promptly, can be prevent from unauthorized access. So the principle of control, the organization should have the bring your own device policy, we call BYOD. So the bring your own device policy can present to the all business unit to make sure that the staff cannot bring their own device into the organization and transfer the sensitive data from like a USB port, like a cloud service, like a smartphone application that's seen from PC to a smartphone. The second is data classification. So the data classification is very important, that led by data governance area. They make sure that data already classified based on the role and responsibility, based on the privilege of access. The third one is a proxy management. Proxy management, we refer to the restriction from access to maintain who is access in the right privilege that we provide by IT security. Proxy management can help the business to identify who is a intrusion, who is an insider attack, and who is willing to compromise, like data sniffing or spoofing. And identification and authentication, this area we need to identify who can authorize to access the system, who can identify from who and how and what to be accessed in the system. And access and change control, very important. We need to control all change and access to the data to ensure data access to the right way. Okay, and the last one is a personnel security management. This is related to the HR function, that the HR need to filter the staff from external factor, during the employment period.